It's a rare condition, it's called AIDS. When Magic Johnson got it, we all thought he was gay. If there is a cure, it'd be from God's design. Some people say it's even harder to find. Well, then there must be some magic cure inside those deep state walls. Cause all I see are medical fees. My whole family's victim to HIV. We relive horrible times, but make hilarious memories. We're consciously monetizing our traumas and our friendship. We also talk about smart guy stuff sometimes. We know the show's got a stupid name. Welcome to Always Very Always. What I wanted to do, since it's been the first episode since the play happened, It's been a while. We gotta recap the play. We gotta talk about different themes, and particularly your scene.
Yeah.
I want to talk about Patrice O'Neal thought through Hegel.
Okay.
I wanted to talk about masculinity, and I want to talk about some of the. I had another thesis talking about. We could keep.
You want to do this on the second episode?
The second episode is now. Episode is now.
All right.
So everyone out there,
first I want to shout you out. A joke you made in reference to the scene where they fall over and over again.
Yeah.
You were like, it's like the comedic rule of 11.
Yeah, the comedic rule of 11. Okay,
so I went back and read in the script to see how many times they fall. It's literally 13.
Nice.
So it's the comedic rule of 13, not 11. You were close though.
But yeah, we just recorded the Patreon episode. It's called RateMyFetish.org. And you're gonna enjoy that one. There's a lot of stuff. There's N-word stuff. That's my fetish. Anyways, it's a very interesting.
But we didn't even speak on that. All right, just to give them a little taste of the Patreon episode. Bro.
Okay.
Give us your quick, very, very cut and dry opinion. Black fellas out here having their white girlfriends call them the N-word in the bedroom. Thoughts?
That's extremely gay.
That's extremely gay.
Like, why? See, my whole thing with when people say that's just fucking stupid. But when people are like, my black son ain't dating no fucking white woman. I ain't never dating no white woman. None of that. Black people should stay with blacks. What I don't get is, even if you are that type of like shithead racist, keep it in the family fucking black guy. Mm-hmm. Shouldn't you have that? Your black son goes to college, let him date one or two white women just for conquest purposes. Get one back
just to catch a dove, you know what I'm saying?
Don't you view it as getting back at them? It's like, no, we're at this point, we're staying like this. We're gonna be like Elder Scrolls orcs. We have Orsinium, and we're just gonna live in this hollow hut until fucking the end times. No, go out there, do your thing. You can still win. There's many doves to catch out here.
You know what I'm saying? Nothing a white man hate more than a nice little light-skinned girl with blue eyes, bro. Nothing he hates more to see.
That's literally what I fantasize about. That's the only reason I want to go to LSU.
Wow.
There's nothing else there besides white women to conquer.
Wow.
So when I was sad to see.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. You might have to redact this whole part of the podcast because
I don't care. I'm too real. You can't handle it. You're weak. You're weak.
All right, man. You said it.
But I was sort of disappointed when I saw like Donovan's first girlfriend at LSU she was pretty, she was probably nice, but I want him just to run through white women.
Oh, his first girlfriend was a black chick?
Yeah. I mean, she was probably a nice, perfectly fine woman. I had nothing against her. But, Donovan has that archetype, just 6'4", just strong as fuck, just running through.
Yeah.
I could have walked on, been a wide receiver, oddly.
From what I've heard of the stories about that, bro, it usually gets sprung on you. Like, you don't know, right? So, like, just imagine you've been dating the girl for a few months, right?
The inverse is also true. White women also, the black, like, this is symbiotic.
What do you mean? They catching a dub on us, you think?
It's not on a race. You're getting a dub on racist. You're getting a dub on their white fathers. They're getting a dub on their white fathers and black people. But more, we have the common enemy, which is overbearing racist white parents.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What I was gonna say is a lot of times from like stories I've seen. I remember, for instance, a story I saw on YouTube about a guy who dated a racist. It's like they'll date him and it'll be normal the whole time. They'll have like a past history of dating black guys. She's like, it's cool. Maybe she just like, black guys are cool. I can see why she might like him. I'm a black guy, right? And the next thing you know, like they're having sex for the first time or whatever. And she's like, yeah, give me that blink cock or whatever. What? You know what I'm saying? And then it's like, you're just like, okay. And he's like, in a moment where you're literally inside of a person, they say that, like, he's like, everybody in the comment section can tell me what they would do, but they don't really know. He's like, next thing you know, I'm talking about master daughter, you know what I'm saying? Sick, right?
See, I wasn't talking about the individuals being racist. But anyways, we've had
and then it's over and they go back to being their normal selves.
Yeah. Because I was hearing a story. The reason I was thinking about it, I was hearing a story about like the type of woman who's like conservative, Republican dickhead husband goes to work. She's a Republican housewife. Sometimes from time to time she gets a younger, let's say, Buck style character to come through and do some Trillville style Trillville style action to it.
Trillville? Yes. Oh, man.
But yeah, I just thought that was like, that just made me go down a rabbit hole. But we're not going to talk about that right at this instant anymore because I want to recap the play. And then from there, we can go back into talking that sort of thing. No doubt. Your play was called Almost Maine. And can you give us like a brief summary of like what the overarching story and theme were before we break down every scene?
Damn, I wish I would have brought my script. But, so the big idea is that there are characters in 8 or 9 different vignettes falling in and out of love. And the play, like love, is supposed to surprise you. It's subversive. It has its twist. It has its rough moments. And it has its touchy moments. And the playwright specifically did say that he meant for it to be romantic, not sentimental. So you can enjoy the moment or bask in it. But no moment in the play, no feeling, no perception of love is ever supposed to really last forever in the context of the play. It's only what it is for that moment. And then the next one comes.
I see. So I remember, so y'all held this at Delgado Community College here in New Orleans. And I was surprised when I got there to see like, I guess this is to be expected, but everyone was like older, like way older. I was like the only person.
Yeah. You went to the opening night showing, correct?
Yes.
And that's a big reason why. A lot of parents.
Did the later showings have more younger people?
Yeah, most definitely. That's a typical trend in theater.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's the first show is like a lot of parents, grandparents, stuff like that. There's people that got that time on a Wednesday night to pull up and hang out.
Yeah.
What does that make a Wednesday night show? Doesn't that sound like a nice old folks?
Yeah, I think a girl, an older woman, literally was like, "Girls' night out," and I'm like, "Come on!" Just a 60-year-old woman trying to see her granddaughter in a play, I guess, while her girls and stuff. Couldn't really get fucked up. No alcohol.
There was wine.
Come on, that's not alcohol. That's old lady alcohol.
You see what I mean?
We trying to get messed up. We trying to make this turn into a football game. I'm trying to do like the Greek amphitheater where they were cheering and booing stuff.
We used to joke about that so much there. So what me and one of my castmates were like, man, we need to have a show where we just fucking just full send it. Just make it completely ridiculous, over the top, absurd. Everybody's in the crowd just being whoa, all that kind of foolishness. You know what I'm saying? I would love to be in a show like that.
It's funny how
that's what Greece was. You remember Greece, bro? And that was a good time.
It's funny that I'm talking even to a more wild extent because I forgot that you meant Greece, the civilization, the ancient. We had to play Greece, but it's funny how like blacks got the reputation of being loud in movie theaters. And like, it's not the same type of racist who says this, but it's a different type of Twitter racist where like they worship like the birth of Western civilization and white culture and all this, and Greece and Rome and all this, and like Greece was it was the worst stereotype of a black theater. Everyone's talking, they're reacting to every line. They're like, "That's my fucking guy." It's like, what the fuck?
The guy gets his head chopped off, and they all start screaming at the top of their lungs.
Holy shit!
Yeah,
all that stuff. Whatever their language, in Greek, obviously, but That it was like the way there was not. It's not so much call and response, but it's like a wrestling match. They were like wrestling fans at a wrestling match instead of guys silently and sometimes laughing at lines in the play. Mm-hmm. They got into it, and that's what art's supposed to be. Get into that shit.
Yeah.
I'm rooting for my guy to do well. Anyways, so it opened up. I get in there, and I'm sitting all the way in the back. I see your mom. I see your grandmama come in, and I was like, nice. I was trying to avoid talking to him because I don't know what to say. I don't know how to approach your mom. I don't even know your mom's name. So I don't even know. It's a, hi, I'm your son's friend.
And she would be like, oh, hi, Mark, because she would know you because, she can't really miss you.
And I know her name. I know her last name isn't your last name.
It is.
It is? Oh, okay.
Yeah, she kept our last name.
I didn't want to disrespect her.
You just, so you don't, I see what you mean. You didn't know her name was. You didn't want to pull up with the, hey, Miss Banks, because it's like, oh no, his father and I are actually divorced, and now you just already like in the hole to start the conversation. Yeah. So I can respect
debuffs, because
but she definitely knows who you are. Her name's Ann.
All right, nice.
Mm-hmm. You definitely could have just been like, I mean, this is probably just like a social anxiety moment for you, but just for future reference.
100% don't have social anxiety.
Oh well, why didn't you just walk up and say, hey, you're Dontez's mother, right? It's that simple.
All right. I don't know. I don't like when people approach me. I assume that other people hate it even more.
I mean, that's a fair point then. So I ain't mad at you.
But yeah, opening scene. We was waiting, and it was like the prologue with these two characters called Jeanette and Pete, and they're sitting far on stage right on a bench, and have the snowy background projected or something, and it was like, oh man. Rough. It was like there was a lot of dead air, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
So and that was like it was meant to be awkward or whatever.
But they overdid it with the pauses and everything.
Maybe they overdid it. Maybe they did a perfect job with it
because it was supposed to be awkward.
But
and the thing is too, our director tells us the way he did this. Our director was super hands off, bro. So. If somebody wanted to go up there and do something, it was gonna happen. You know what I'm saying, bro? So it's like if they felt like, because it was real. You know what I'm trying to say? Like it's not. That's another thing about theater as opposed to like a movie. It's not supposed to look like the action and the pace and all that. That shit's not supposed to apply. Like you're just watching the stuff happen. So all that was supposed to be was a realistic representation of what it's like talking to somebody and them telling you they love you for the first time.
Yeah.
Do you think that's how it read?
Yes.
And if it's honest, if it's real.
I just felt like since there's a lot of parents, they're not artsy fartsy type. They're people's mamas and stuff. Mm-hmm. And then like first thing you see is dads like, oh my God, this is gonna be mids at best. Oregano at best.
Ooh.
And I was like, I can't wait to get them on the podcast or tear this shit apart.
Ooh.
I wasn't rooting against you. I was really tear everyone else apart because I know you could act. But so that was the first scene, and it was like, But
it was rough. It was hard to watch almost.
It was hard to watch, but it was good. It was like one of the few things where like your reaction to it, and
it's like a horror movie, but it's a rom-com.
Yeah, I guess. So second scene was called Her Heart with two characters called Glory and East, and I like this because I told you this before. Because East, he looks like the comedian Patrick Doran.
Yeah, I walked up to him after you told me. I told him I was like, yeah. When I first told him you look like a comedian, he's like Patrick Doran.
Yeah. Oh my God.
He's like, yeah, I get that a lot. Yeah, bro. I remember that.
Wow. So yeah, I enjoy seeing Patrick.
So basically, you were right on target with that to the point where I brought it up to him. He's like, this again?
Oh God. Yeah. So you want to summarize this scene because you have more experience with seeing it more than I do.
Yeah, I was actually in that scene also to begin with, so I pretty much understood the whole point of it. Basically, she has an artificial heart because her original heart broke when her husband cheated on her. Mm-hmm. Her husband cheated on her, and then when she decided to, she had to go to the hospital when her heart broke when he cheated on her. Because that's nothing about this play. There's a lot of surreal elements, right? Mm-hmm. So since her heart breaks, she got to go to the fucking hospital that moment, right? That he cheated on her. She found out. And so he shows up at the hospital like, please take me back. I'm sorry, this, that, and the other. And he's like, no, I can't take you. She's like, I can't take you back. The heart that used to love you, I don't have it anymore. It's broken. All I got now is this artificial heart. Mm-hmm. And the husband and he's distraught. He runs into the street. He gets hit by a bus. He fucking dies. Right.
Get fucked.
Yeah. So she is in Maine to see the Northern Lights because this is actually true what the character said, that the Northern Lights are said to be the spirits of people going to the afterlife or whatever. Mm-hmm. And when you see them, you can see people like go away for their final goodbyes or whatever. So she went to go say goodbyes to him, pass his spirit on to the next world because she felt somehow culpable for him having died. And while she's out there, she's actually standing in this guy's backyard looking at the lights. And she's pitched a tent, she just, some random woman just out there. So he walks out of his house. He's basically like, what the fuck is she doing here? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But he can't help but wonder, what is she doing here? He's a bit smitten by her. Mm-hmm. So he comes out, they have their exchange and everything. And after he finds out that she has an artificial heart and her real heart is literally like pieces of slate in a paper bag, right? Mm-hmm. Like she's like shaking. He's like, well, it's great for roofing because, he's a repairman. He fixes things. And eventually, they have their back and forth. It's love at first sight for him, and he tries to repair her heart. And that's how the scene ends. Basically, it's like he been trying to snatch the heart back and forth from him, and there's been this like give and take with it. There's levity in that. And then eventually he gets the heart back from her. She's like, give me my heart. He's like, no, it's broken. What are you going to do with this? She's like, but it's mine. He's like, but it's broken, and I can fix it. I'm a repairman. My guy puts the heart on the porch and starts banging it out with the sledgehammer. Mm-hmm. And then they walk back inside his house. It's a nice, happy ending.
Nice. So
also, his name is East. Her husband's name was West. Because this playwright, something else.
Well, I thought the lady who had the broken heart was making this up on the fly. Like, she was making up lies to keep the deeper questions from coming in or something, like as a defense mechanism.
That's a possible read of it, yeah.
But yeah, I was sort of confused because it seemed like, wait a second, is she lying or is this just a bunch of weird symbolism? I'm not really a symbolic type guy. So we should say this is
the first play. This is the first scene you see that has that element to it of surrealism, right?
Yeah.
So when you first see it, you're not gonna immediately think that that's her actual fucking heart.
Yeah, but it's very like basic third grader surrealism. Yeah. My heart is this bag of broken stuff.
Yeah. And the playwright deliberately, another reason it's called Almost, is because he wanted to almost be bad. So he wanted you to see a scene, and the whole time you have this impression of it, you're like, yeah, this is...
Could call it almost mids.
Yeah, this is some fucking foolishness. And then eventually, you see the heart of the scene. You know what I mean? Like, there actually is a depth and a real tragedy and a beauty to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With how, he tries to take her heart away. She don't want him to take it. And, he's trying to fix her heart. It's pretty straightforward, that one. But that's because it's got to set the table, I feel like.
Yeah, it was pretty good. And had the added Patrick modifier. Yeah. The third scene was called Sad and Glad. This was at the bar with Jimmy, Cedrine, and the waitress. Yeah. You don't have to go line by line with this, but I remember this pretty well. That the two people sat at the bar, and the guy was like, he was really trying to get back at this girl that he liked for a very long time, and hasn't talked to her for such a long time, and realized that now she's at this bar because it's like her bachelorette party or something.
Exactly.
So it's like, oh, you too late, and now the girl's in an awkward situation because you have this guy that loves her at her bachelorette party or whatever. She about to get turned out by a couple of red district's finest, the red light district's finest, and this fucking loser from high school trying to hit him up again.
Yeah. So there's two perspectives on it. One is that they had like a one night stand, and one is that they had been dating for a while, and then she ghosted him because after she realized that Jimmy's like kind of a fucking loser.
See, I where I read it is that he's such a fucking loser. They had nothing. They never did anything with each other ever.
Well, no, because they talk about how Jimmy has a line where he says, "I haven't seen you in months and months and months and months and months. Not since that night when I woke up and you were just gone." You see what I mean?
Yeah, I guess that's more symbolism because I didn't hear that. I guess.
Yeah, it's a verbatim line, and that's why like the projection as an actor and all that is very important. Like, if you don't, there's things you might miss if you don't hear one particular line, and then it's like the whole context of the scene is flipped on its head.
After a certain point, and I guess it was.
But they were together at a certain point.
Yeah,
and she does like him because there's another line where she goes at where he's at. He's like where you're supposed to see the brighter side to Jimmy because Jimmy is a bit of a fuck up, right?
Yeah.
But a line where you're supposed to see the brighter side to him is when he's like, "I'm glad you got found. He's quite a guy." And you are too, a person, a woman. Yeah. And she's like, oh, Jimmy. Because she's supposed to be smitten by how even though it's really dumb and like hardly a good go at like being sentimental, she still like appreciates that from him.
Can you talk about that tattoo our boy Jimmy had?
Our boy Jimmy, after what went down with Sandrine, she didn't give a fuck really. She was like on with her life, got married not too long after that. But he was really down bad for her, you know? And he drove her away with his bad behavior. We don't know what it is particularly, but we can probably assume it's like standard creep shit, you know, that he was up to that made her leave. And he calls himself a villain as a result. And, you know, what he did is criminal. It's just plain villainy. So he branded himself a villain. He got a tattoo that says villain. But they wrote it wrong on him. He wrote it wrong. They wrote it wrong. You know, ha 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 ha. And it says Villian, Villian. Very classic misspelling. Very very good joke. I feel like the Villian one.
Yeah.
And basically, she finds out that he has this tattoo of villain. She's like, "Why would you get a tattoo that says Villian?" Or when she first looks at it, she's like, "Who's Villian?" Because she's still like kind of jealous in a way. Like you got some other bitch name tatted on your arm already, or whatever. Like that's the angle she takes at first, and then she's like, "Why would you even want to get a tattoo that says villain?" And that's when he starts telling her, "Yeah, because I ran you away, this, that, and the other." And she's like, "You know, you can get that removed." And she leaves. She goes back to go to her bachelorette party. And then as she leaves, and my boy Jimmy is sitting at the fucking stool with his 3 beers, you know, on drink free if you're sad night. The waitress walks in to remind him. You know, as she's walking away, she's like, "Well, if you need me, just call my name. Just ask for Villian." And I can remember to this day from backstage, we know when that line is said, bro, because he just asked for Villian. Literally one of the most laughed at jokes in the whole fucking play, bro. Some stupid little line about the waitress saying, but that's what the whole scene is building towards. You know what I mean?
To me, a girl named Villian would be like a 5'10" or beyond like goth chick.
I think so too.
Just stacked.
Yeah.
To high heaven goth chick. You
got to work with what you got. And also,
I mean, of course. I mean, that's not her. I'm not saying anything about her.
Yeah, and also, that's a thing where that role. It's funny that you have to nail that part, even though you only got like 3 lines. Because like the way that she comes on stage and carries herself and everything, it really makes it to where it really determines how funny that's going to be. You know what I mean? So, I think that's a cool little part, being a waitress.
I think if you know the wrestler Rhea Ripley, I think her name she's when I think of Villian, I think of just like an extremely just tall, muscular, just
ask for Villian.
Yeah,
yeah, I could definitely see that. Dude.
Yeah. So we get to This Hurts, and I forget what this one is. But you can go through this one pretty fast because I'm trying to get to your scene.
This Hurts is the one with the ironing board.
Oh, yes. This was the good. Okay, we got to spend time on this, I guess.
Yeah. This is one of my favorite scenes, actually.
Yeah.
Well, the guy has congenital analgesia, or congenital insensitivity to pain, as some people call it. Basically, he can't feel pain since birth. And he's an orphan. Him and his brother have been living together at Ma Dudley's. It's a place where it's like, for people who are just down on their luck.
A what? My what?
Ma Dudley's. It's like an orphanage or like like a community living type situation.
All right. And the 2 characters in this, the guy is named Steve, and
Steve.
the girl is named
Marvelin. Like marvelous, Marvelin.
It's spelled like a Elder Scrolls vampire.
Yeah, Marvelin, and basically, Steve cannot feel pain. Marvelin is in an abusive relationship. It's not necessarily explicitly stated whether it's physical or emotional, but it is certainly at least emotionally abusive or, stifling at the very least.
Is it possible for someone to be physically abusive and not emotionally abusive?
Yes.
How so?
No. No, that's not possible. But the other way around is for it to be emotionally, but not physically.
See, that's what I fantasize about. It's just being physically brutalized, but I like it. Anyways, let's go on.
But yes, that is possible. I mean, it's just consent. There you go.
Yeah,
y'all can work that.
Well, not consent. I like it though.
So we were just talking about why that's a never fantasy, but
it's like we were talking about the guy says, man, you got really nice feet, or you got really nice tits, you got really nice like slapping heads, you got really monstrous,
you got some nice pronounced knuckles,
you got a nice cat of nine tails hanging up on your wall. You got a nice little outlet to put this electrified Iron Maiden in your basement.
Oh my lord, dude. But yeah, there's a few lines where Steve is like, because Steve is also like clearly like mildly autistic with the way he like socializes and everything. Mm-hmm. And so like, for instance, he's like y'all are loud, y'all yell and bang, we can hear you, like talking about them upstairs, so if they're yelling in an argument, or if she's getting banged on, we don't know, but that's like an illusion that is made. And so there's like a sort of kindredness to them, because he does not feel pain and she is numb to the pain that she is receiving from life. And then eventually, after like talking to him about how he has this book full of things that can hurt you, that things to be afraid of, and he doesn't have ironing boards written on his list, so naturally they can't hurt you. So he's like, see, if I hit you with this ironing board, since it's not on my list, it won't hurt you. He just fucking wallops her with the ironing board. So you got like some quality slapstick comedy. I feel like they did a really good job staging all of that and everything. It was a lot like, the wrestling steel chair type stuff. Yeah,
the concerto where you got the guy's like head on top of a chair and you're slamming the chair from above, but you're hitting the other chair without hitting his head. But it looks brutal.
Yeah. Little behind the scenes fact for you: on the last run of the show on Sunday, she actually hit him with the fucking ironing board.
Nice.
And like, we're going backstage, we see, we're like, ooh, damn, he actually got clocked that time. But my guy didn't break character, bro. He just fucking he just got slept by the ironing board and then just got up and went back to the scene, because at that point he was in character,
I mean, how much could that hurt?
Getting hit by an ironing board?
Yeah, that can't be that painful.
I mean,
like flat on the back ironing board.
No, he got hit in the head with it.
Oh, that one.
The one where she like spins around.
That's rough.
Yeah. But he was good. I mean, he wasn't hurt or nothing like that. So
yeah, it was a good scene.
Yeah, one of my favorite lines from that scene. He's like, my Dudley's is a place where people can get their feet back on the ground. My brother Rob, he and I have been trying to get our feet back on the ground our whole lives. It seems like, whatever. He's autistic, so he doesn't quite get what he's saying with that. But it's like, I feel like it's pretty funny.
Yeah, the people. Wait, is that a double entendre or something?
Mm-hmm. They've been trying to get their feet back on the ground their whole lives. That's all it means is like, He's like, yeah. They say this place is for people trying to get their feet back on it. Like, he's like, we've been in this same predicament my entire life. Is basically what he's saying.
Yes, but he doesn't understand that's the slogan. Like, he's referring to the slogan as a noun. Yeah. And he doesn't know that slogan actually means a condition that you're in. Yeah. Okay. Yes. And then, people in the crowd, they really got that, like, damn. Mm-hmm. A lot of
sad moments in that scene, honestly.
Just that's why I like that one. But we go to your scene. The main event. The second main event. Second of two main events called Getting It Back. Two characters, Gail and Lendo. Lendo played by one Dontez Banks.
Yes, sir.
Soon to be Dontez Banks CBE, to be knighted by the Queen for his acting ability.
Oh, Lord.
But go ahead. Latest one on us. Give us all all the details, all the structure of the thing.
Okay, so they've been dating for 11 years. They're not quite married yet. And they've discussed it in the past. Gail even has a line where she's talking to Lindo about, remember the time I asked you if we were going to get married back in December? It was snowing, that sort of thing.
We got to start off from the benegging, as my sister would say.
Oh, yeah, all right. You want the scene from the top?
I want you, not line for line, but we got, you on.
All right, I'll get the keys for you.
Okay, yeah.
So our guy Lindo is asleep in his chair. He's cozy as fuck. And he's just finished. He's watching a hockey game. He's a Bruins fan. And
boo.
He's a Boston Bruins fan. sleep on the couch with the remote on his bed. And there's a fight going on the TV at the same moment that she starts knocking on his door. It's like really well timed and really good idea by our director. On top of that, basically you hear the hockey fight commentation as she starts banging on the door. Lindo! She comes running into the door, and then you hear oh, goal! And then as you hear goal, she turns the TV off, throws the remote at him. He's like, Lindo, hey, I need to talk to you. Lindo's got no fucking clue what's going on. He just was at the mill working, then went to sleep. So he gets up out of his seat. He's like, yeah, what's going on? He's just like, whatever, what's up? And she's like, Lindo, I want it back. And at this point, the guy's completely confused. He's like, huh? What? He's like, I want all the love I gave you. I want it back. Mm-hmm. I've got yours in the car. And so at this point, he's like, really doesn't have any clue what's going on, but she's like dead set on this whole mission that she just came on. She talked herself up about this in the car, dude. Like, she already decided, you know what I mean? So basically, she walks, they have this little kerfuffle about his confusion and what she's going to do. She walks off stage, comes back with these huge red bags full of love and just drops them in the middle of his living room. And he's like, wow, that's a lot. She's like, yeah, I'm going to go get the rest. And she walks on and off stage 2, 3, 4 more times and eventually just has this mountain of red trash bags almost full of love. Or
that you gave her, yeah.
That Lindo gave to her. Mm-hmm. And she's returning it to him and then she's like, okay, now I gave you all yours. I want mine back. Mm-hmm. And he's like, what do you mean? She's like, all the love I gave you, I want it back. Go get it. So he goes off stage. He goes and gets this tiny little bag, brings it back on stage. He's like, there you go. That's all the love you gave me. And she's not having it, bro. She doesn't like it at all. She's like, what do you mean? There's no way that's all the love I gave you. I mean, what kind of person am I? You know what I mean? And so they have their dispute over that. Basically, it's eventually revealed that she's felt like she's put so much into the relationship, even though it's not necessarily being shown in that moment with the bags. Her tiny bag, his numerous mini bags, as it says in the script. Mm-hmm. And she's like, all love I gave you, I want it back because I don't have any love for me left, and that's not good for a person. So I want it back in case I need it. I want to bring it with me. He's like, where are you going? She's like, I need to get away from things. And then this is when it finally begins to set in. She showed up at his house that night, fully intending to just break up with him and never see him again. And that's when it becomes a drastic scenario. And he's trying to win her over and get her to understand how much he really does love her. Mm-hmm. And so he starts explaining to her how the little bag it's not little because she only gave him a little bit of love. It's actually the ring that he bought her, and he put all the love that she gave him into the ring because the ring is a lot bigger than it looks. When you have so much love, the only place you can put it is into the ring. So then he pulls the ring out the bag. He proposes. They kiss. It's very sweet. People love it. The end. Scene.
And so with my analysis is that immediately what I thought was that this scene had to be written by the ghost of Patrice O'Neal because it shows you how, and honestly, hey, I'm not a master of Hegel. I failed senior year college philosophy. I'll be that. I got yelled at over the internet about my Hegel paper. I'll be the first one to say I don't know shit about fuck.
I don't know shit about fuck.
But I feel like what Patrice O'Neal's getting at in all his relationship is hours and hours of relationship. He could skip a lot of it by understanding the master-slave dialectic, by saying that a woman wants a master, but by the nature of his masterness is that there's always going to be this distance, this alienation that most women don't care about. But some women, especially modern women, they don't like it because they think they want something that equal. But what they really what everyone wants is to have that man who's a master. And the woman is a slave, not in the exploitative sense, but in that the woman's existence depends on that master. And the man's existence can go either way. Mm-hmm. But to some extent, the part of dialectic, the master still needs, to some extent, the slave. He's not completely independent. He's bound by having slaves. Mm. So, in this case, with this scene, it's the woman is getting all this love from the man, and so all the love that she gives to him, it ends up she's getting that too. She's not getting just the direct love from Lindell or from Dontez. She's getting back her love in the form of the ring. So the woman is really, if she trusts in the man, she loves the man, she's going to get everything back she invested.
Literally. And
everything that he has to begin with.
I'm glad you noticed that, Greg, because a lot of too many people notice. At the end of the scene, I mean, the playwright, he was specific in this. She even has a line. When he hands her the ring in the box, so she realizes, oh, this is all love you gave me. It's the ring I asked for. She turns and looks at this mountain of love. It's literally like almost as tall as she is on the stage, right? And she's like, can I keep all that? And Lindo goes, it's yours. Like, I gave it to you. I'm not the kind of person that's going to show up at your house and take all the love I gave you back. You see what I mean?
Yes.
It's yours. So then she's holding the ring. Like you said, that's all the love she gave him. She's holding that in her hand. And she still got all his fucking bags. What does Lindo have? He got hers.
He got her.
That's all he wanted.
A master eventually is going to want the slave. But the slave is going to want
I don't like this master slave
because it's not referring to chattel slavery. It's not referring to chattel slavery. It's referring to independence and thraldom on any level, intellectual. It's not because it's not bound to material when Hegel talks about it. Yeah. You could call it something else, but everything in life comes down. Are you in complete control, or are you in thraldom to something else, nature or something?
Fair enough. Look. I'll permit it because it's fair enough, man. It's good stuff.
Because
it's good stuff, honestly. I don't hate on it.
I think that a lot of women, your average woman, wants a man who is emotionally. Because when you talk about power and independence, it's impossible to be truly independent in any economy. But what I mean independent, like, you don't need me to complete you. I'm an addition to you. I could be your queen. What the man wants, I am independent. I'm established. Time for me to get a queen, like someone to really be down with me. And the reason why Patrice O'Neal gets called like a sexist and misogynist is because there's so many this part's unsaid. Modern society cannot allow for people to become kings and queens. You just can't. You just can't. You out here
can't allow two functioning people to exist.
Like, there's not enough functioning people for them to be independently minded, emotionally strong. They need so many people to just to be okay. Like, think of this stat, like 40% or something like this of people in their 20s are experiencing extreme loneliness, a lack of intimacy, of lack of friends. Your average person our age has 1.25 friend, and on average, they're spending less time than they did 10 years ago. They're spending less than 3 hours a week with their friends of any sort. Less than 3 hours a week. That's dog shit nothing. And more people become more and more isolated, have less money, they have less buying power, they're less independent, and they're more propagandized too, they're more brainwashed. They can never be emotionally independent. They cannot be a master of any aspect of their destiny.
They're slaves to the system.
They're a slave to someone else. They're not even a slave
to their lover.
Not to a lover, not to a family, not to even
their father.
Not a boss or a manager. A lot of people don't even have father figures because we're in a generational continuation, replicating more and more slaves. People who are I'm not saying slave in like a capitalist proletarian sense. I'm not saying it's in a Marxist sense, although it's true there. We're making slaves in people that they could not arise to ever be the man that can get the woman to add to their completeness. They need somebody. They need just basic friends, basic girlfriends, basic interactions to even feel the shadow of completeness of a humanity that just doesn't exist that much anymore.
That they've been so deprived.
So
that's a really good point.
And I just think that's all
right. I'm glad I heard you out on it. I agree. I'm with it.
So with viewing a woman as a slave, that's something that obviously you find contemptible or just wrong. But it goes both ways, I think, because it can never be. One always has to be a master. One always going to have to be a slave. Because even if it's a woman's the master, okay, the man's just a slave now. Like, we're not debating. We're not debating hierarchy. We're debating who gets to be the one that you think is on top. Because they both need each other, anyways.
Yeah. Either way. Either way, we need each other.
So I just I don't know. I felt like I had an epiphanic moment when I was listening to Patrice O'Neal the other day, and it's like, damn, this is not some fucking love line radio guy love advice bullshit. Like, he's talking about something that I think is actually real. He just doesn't like your average like street philosopher these days. They don't attach it to anything like Hegelianism or Marxism or any philosophical background, so they can't make it real to a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
But I think
Patrice O'Neal managed to do that in his work.
I don't think he's made it to make it real, but without even
adding that,
without reading though,
mm-hmm.
like whatever.
He knew it,
but he knew it.
Yeah. You remember when we had our Kevin Samuels retrospective? I feel like he was on target.
See, the thing is, this is what I was thinking with Kevin Samuels. You have to be funny for this to stick. If you're not going to have the deep academic,
I feel like, ma'am, you're average at best. It's kind of funny. I feel
it's
like
funny if you're on his side.
I feel like going on your computer in the middle of a discussion with somebody, looking up Lawrence Taylor, and then highlighting his weight with the fucking cursor and then saying, "How much do you weigh, ma'am?" And then looking, then like mousing around. I feel like that's kind of funny.
I just feel like Kevin Samuels, like he's gonna be the full extent to him being funny is going to. You're only gonna get it if you're on his side. Mm-hmm. If you're neutral, maybe you'll find some of it funny. If you're against him,
it's not funny.
It's not going to work.
Right.
It's not going to.
But Patrice O'Neal will still make a
like
woman laugh.
He makes the person who fucking detests him end up seeing exactly what he's trying to say by being funny.
And like they'll laugh at it. You crazy, man. Like, why are you laughing though? I'm right though. That's why you laughing, because you get it. I see what you mean.
That's why like his fucking the extended cut of his Elephant in the Room special is just. Goated. That's the only thing.
I'm gonna go watch the Patrice O'Neal, man. I'm gonna go watch
that. And you go listen to a lot of his stuff on Opie and Anthony. That's just a gold mine of stuff. And obviously it can't be said enough. Patrice O'Neal in the past 10 years of podcasting, like if he was in that scene, I have no doubt he would either be like a top 3 podcaster or like canceled to the point that like some blue-haired crazy woman would have tried to kill him. Like it's literally like he's that good in my opinion. Like
I'm excited to go check out some of his stuff. I've only seen a little bit of it, but I am familiar with that one thing you were telling me about. A man has to love a woman. A man only has to like a woman. A woman has to love a man.
Yeah. So. And it's another thing I want to say about comedy now is that there's like these real talking, like I say, people who were adjacent to Patrice O'Neal. Like Bill Burr is adjacent to him. Like they work together. They're around the same people. If it's odd to use this phrase because it's more about Twitch streamers, but you could even say to some extent Bill Burr is a Patrice O'Neal orbiter. Maybe that's a little extreme.
Yeah,
but it feels to me like a lot of people who are supposed to inherit his thought, it feels like it's kind of just gone.
Yeah, they're not carrying on the legacy.
Anthony Cumia.
Maybe it's you, bro. Maybe you got to step on stage.
I guess, but there's still gonna be a 10-year gap between me and him.
So
I'm just remarking upon it because it's odd that people who are like friends with him and people who are trying to like be that real relationship. Like cut through the miasma of it all. Mm-hmm. Like people who bring up other people, like you bring up Kevin Samuels, but he has things that he's lacking communication.
Well, I'm not bring him up. Only bring him up because I feel like I've seen a little bit of that idea. Not because I feel like he is particularly efficient in his delivery of it. And
some people brought up, TK Kirkland. Kirkland,
don't know who that is.
He's a comedian, but I feel like at his soul, he's mean spirited.
Yeah,
he makes a lot of He wrote like a couple of relationship books. He makes like relationship based.
Kind of like Chris Rock. Like Chris Rock does have a lot of really good, commentary on the black plight. But at his spirit, I feel like Chris Rock is kind of racist. Does not like black people.
Probably, but I haven't really delved deep into Chris Rock, so I never.
I mean, so for me, maybe I'm being reductive, but one of his most popular bits, there's black people and then there's N-words.
Yeah,
I feel like that's pretty. Representative of the type of behavior.
Yeah, if that was his entire ideology, then fuck him. Yeah. But I just don't know if that to be true.
Me neither. So fair.
So whatchamacallit? I was gonna list just a bunch of other people who's supposed to be like inheritors of that, but it's just oddly not there. Like we're all looking at the same guy, but we're all seeing a different piece of art. It's very weird.
Yeah.
Because it's like this guy is speaking like out of all the comedians, isn't this guy like the realest one? And people don't like, isn't this the guy you're supposed to get? But no, we're just gonna get a bunch of Louis C.K. ripoffs, a bunch of Bill Burr wannabes, a bunch of people who just nothing. People who want to be Richard Pryor and fucking Rodney Dangerfield. but they have nothing to say. Those people had something to say at least. Norm Macdonald had like a talent on such a level that he didn't have to necessarily have a point to what he was saying.
Yeah, he was hilarious.
He was just hilarious. It's like, I feel like Patrice O'Neal is the model for a modern comedian, in my opinion, because he's just going up there and just saying stuff and like, yeah, I guess I'm a funny guy as well, so I'm gonna deliver this in a joking way so you understand it. Like, he's a great communicator, and it's like, if you're going into comedy and you're not a great communicator, if you are struggling to talk to your fucking friends, what the fuck are you doing on stage? I'm tired of it. There's so many of these comedians who are just.
Man, I feel like you gotta hit an open mic.
I am. This January I am. After I get some money so I can get Ubers to open mics because the bus don't run that late. But yeah, I'm definitely hitting the open mics up. So yeah, that's what I want to say on that. Maybe we could hit on a different part when we get to your other scene. But we're going to talk about Dave Fell. You want to talk about that? Well, go ahead.
I'll let you give it a run on that one.
So
you take the lead for second act.
This is where like I started to get a little high off sleep deprivation because it was past my bedtime. It was like 8:30. So the way I read the scene, like I couldn't really hear that well. Not just because they weren't projecting, although that might have been a problem, but also because I was a little tired. But all I recognize is that for like the first like little 80% of the scene is that these two. This is a scene obviously written for men. As they're talking about, oh, this Saturday we're gonna get the fucking the skis and the beers and the Budweisers, and we're just gonna fuck around and watch the game or some shit. It was guy talk, and I that was something about it. But apparently one girl was talking about how she didn't like the way her boyfriend was talking to her, calling her stinky or whatever. Didn't like her smell, and the other girl was like saying, hey, don't feel bad about it or something. And I guess I'm gonna skip to the end where like they made plans towards the middle and the beginning, but it seemed like the other girl wanted to cancel her because she realized that, oh, am I like really like in lesbian love with this woman or something? Maybe I'm reading this wrong. Okay. And then so they end up canceling the plans, and the girl supposed to be smelly was saying, I guess was trying to get the plans back on, and then I guess the scene just ends with them locking eyes, supposed to be them locking eyes and falling in love with each other. So they literally fall repeatedly every time they see each other. Yeah. And they fall, and first time, big laugh. Second time they fall, a little tiny laugh. Third time, a little less laugh. Fourth time, oh, big laugh again. Counter rules of 4. We get a bigger laugh this time. We get a fifth one, tiny laugh. Sixth one, we're getting close to no laugh now. 7-1, 0 laugh. 8-1, you get some people going, what? 9-1, we're getting a 1 or 2 people laughing again. 10-1, okay, people are laughing a little bit more now. 11th one,
they're still fucking doing this.
They're still falling. 11th fall, they're laughing at the same like little bit. 12th, they're laughing a little bit more, and the people are wondering, what is this going to fucking end? 13-1, they finally fall down permanently, and people laugh and they clap because goddamn, the scene is over.
Yeah. Yeah. So what might have been missed there? You are correct. This scene was originally been written for men. Originally, it was 2 guys, Chad and Randy, 2 country boys. That's what it says in the script. And after the show went off Broadway in New York, they decided to add a female version of it that ran in rep. So it's not that it's supposed to be for men. It's just that it was originally there was a male version of the scene, and then they rewrote it with women. But I don't think they made enough adjustments to accommodate that fact, in my opinion as well. I agree with you. But basically, they're both sharing their bad date experience. The smelly chick, she went on a date, and the guy told her that he didn't like the way she smelled.
She might not even be smelling. She just had like a cologne that he didn't like.
That's exactly what that isn't. See, I don't know if you know that deliberately, but that's a line from the show. Is actually that she's like, yeah, something about women and the lengths we go to. He's like, what, like perfume? Because like the other girl's like telling her like, no, that's crazy. You don't even wear that much perfume. This, that, and other, like backing her up, like really supporting her. And then the other chicks like they're like trying to one up each other with how bad their stories are. So she's like, well, mine's face broke. We went together dancing. They teach how to dance together, and we were doing that thing where you throw the chick over, but he couldn't quite get it because he's small, and like that's like a little joke. Oh man, it's small. That's hilarious. not funny, but not actually funny. But in the original version of it, the guy throws the chick in the air and it breaks her face, so it's much funnier. But they try to play it into this like misandrous take of like an emasculated man dancing with a lesbian woman, and that makes it much less funny to me, unintentionally. But anyways, she's talking about how they went dancing together and he couldn't get the move because he's so small or whatever. So she's like, well, we'll just switch. I'll show him how to do it because it's so easy. And then she goes to do it and she's so strong. He's such a tiny little non-man that she throws him clean over her head and he breaks his fucking face. And then she takes him.
It's like that time Great Khali killed a guy. But go on. That's what I was thinking of.
That's a real thing?
Yeah, he did like you flipped the guy over you and the guy fell on his head and he died.
Never knew that. I think I have heard that actually.
But yeah, I was thinking about that, and I went out again and didn't hear anything, so I was thinking about that like damn for like 30 seconds.
That's crazy, bro.
But yeah, go ahead.
But yeah, I think I do remember that. But anyways, so he broke his face, and then she's like, yeah, I drove him to the hospital, and he cried the whole time.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, ha 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 ha, little non-man. And like,
I don't get it. You broke your face. That's like pretty serious. Like your brain's like, and right
it's
there.
ironic because I guarantee you, if it was a guy saying that, it would have been way funnier. Because in the guy version of it, he goes, yeah, bro, I had to drive her home 38 miles. And then other guys like, man, he's like, yeah, she cried the whole way. And the other guy goes, hate that. And it's just fucking hilarious because it's like two stupid men being dumb.
Yeah.
But like no woman would ever actually say something like that. So it just doesn't work. But anyways.
Yeah, I have an interjection.
Go ahead.
I was more of a question, I guess. You know how like the dumb blonde archetype, like is that actually like an archetype that regular people like? I feel like it's the same as like a rich guy wanting to be like wanting to be sexually dominated because they have so much power in their regular life. Like that's not a populist sort of regular guy sort of thing for like to want like a dumb woman. A dumb guy is hilarious. Yeah. But like a dumb woman, it's like, damn. But go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with that. But so she drives home and she's like, basically the other chick, she's being nice. He's like, yeah, I guess you do win. You're the baddest day girl all the time. She's like, yeah. They have that whole little exchange. And then they go on, like you said, they were trying to set up the reason that there was a shift in the scene and you might have missed it is that the smelly chick, she goes, her name's Shelly.
Whoa. Shelly the Smelly. Let's see.
Yeah, Shelly.
Yeah, her name's Shelly.
So Shelly goes, after all that happened, like it gets to like a kind of sad moment. She's like, after all that happened with the guy telling me I smell bad and all, I started feeling really bad. But then I came out of feeling bad because I was thinking about how not much makes sense in this world except you. You do make sense to me. You make me feel good. And then she says this, and it just kind of like sits in the air for a little bit. Then she's like, "Yeah," or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like when your best bro just told you like, "Yeah, I really you make my life feel complete, man." You know what I mean? It's just basically what the energy of it is, and that's why the energy of the scene shifts. And then she's like, "There's like this thing where she's like, you're my best friend. We're friends, best friends." And there's a line where you're friends you can't cross, and you crossed it. Because it's I think the way it's supposed to do, as intended by the playwright.
I don't know if that's the line. I don't think that's the line where you cross it, where you can't cross.
Oh, okay.
The event horizon of another man's
after
ass.
She does literally say, "I fall in love with you." Because the first thing that happens is, Shelly falls when she looks Dina in the eye. She falls in love with her.
Yes.
Right. And then after that, she's like helping her. She's like, "Come on, what are you doing? Why do you?" She's like, "You okay?" or whatever. And like in that moment, there's like a moment where she's like, she was pretending to be standoffish about it, but when she sees her in trouble, it's supposed to be like a revelation for the audience that like she's like so concerned about her being hurt and really showing how much she does care about Shelly or whatever else. But then, hold on, I'm losing my train of thought. But then she goes on to be like, I can't help it. I fall in love with you here, Dina. And she's like, you can't say that. When you say a thing like that, it's just in the air. You know what I mean? You can't take it back once you say that you love me. We're friends. You know what I'm saying? And she's like, you are the person that makes me feel like I'm not going to end up being that crazy cat lady. But I feel like I am, because right now my best friend doesn't make any sense, because my best friend loves me. And she's not supposed to love me. She's my best friend. You see me? That's how they play it. And then Like she has this whole monologue, and it sounds like she's really about to just rip her one, and that's going to be the end of the scene. And then as she's saying it, she looks her in the eye, and then they both fall down because they fall in love with each other. You see what I mean? And that's why it's supposed to be an ultra cathartic moment. It's because instead of her like rejecting her, she actually falls in love with her as well, and realizes in that moment how much she appreciates her. Yeah. And the pacing on the falls and everything, it's limited by the actors.
Yeah, they got to do like a real Luigi, like quick get up, fall again. Yeah, you know, Super Smash Brothers, when he would win, he would fall 3 times really quickly. Yeah,
the way I would do it would be like, yeah, and then you gotta like play different angles. Yeah, like you could do the doom, get up. Like I am not gonna lie, I could have done a great job with that, but unlucky.
Yeah, he did like the crumple, like you just got your neck broken, crumple.
Yeah, you could do the fall onto your knees, like straight onto the knees. Y'all are both looking at each other. Then it's straight down onto the chest. You get up, you fall back, you just spin around, fall. You can do the fucking. You know what I'm saying? Like there's so many levels you can play with that.
The jump and fall right on your back thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, just look accomplished.
You can literally do this. The Stone Cold fall straight backwards, but you catch yourself with your elbow without anybody noticing.
Yeah, you look
I
at
did that in
a Stone Cold Stunner compilation. Look at the guys who taken it and just fall like that.
Yeah, they fall straight onto their back, dude. Like there's so many ways they could have done that. And like our director definitely could have helped them more.
I don't know if you want to fall like that on that floor.
If you do it correctly, it doesn't hurt. When I was in Alice in Wonderland, I had a feint where I did that. I did it forward too, and it didn't hurt if you do it right.
Let's see here. What's the next scene? It's called Where It Went. Mm-hmm. Marcy and Phil. Oh, this is yours again.
Oh, this guy remember my name. That's funny.
You describe the scene once again.
All right. So basically, it's a married couple, Phil and Marcy. They have 2 kids. They've been married for years, and they're out at Echo Pond, which is like a fictional place, but they're going ice skating together to enjoy some time. They finally got some time away from the kids, but Phil actually ended up showing up late to the outing because he was busy pulling a double at work, and so he shows up and he's like, "Yeah, I feel like you're mad at me because I'm late." She's like, "I'm not mad. All I want you to do is pay attention." And that's like her mantra throughout the scene. She keeps telling him, I just wish you pay attention, Phil. I wish you pay attention. He keeps telling her, it still seems like you're mad. It feels like you're mad. So they have that. They keep having that debate. And then it's quickly revealed at the beginning of the scene, she's like missing her shoe as well. So that's adding extra frustration and strain. So it's supposed to be like a really nice moment for them. Mm-hmm. So he's like looking around for their shoe. She's like asking him, like, are you hiding my shoe right now? Is this supposed to be funny? It's not funny. It's cold out here. He's like, well, you want to go skating. Kind of throwing it back in her face, and like it's just this kind of like this like icky married couple having a bad, very honest, realistic, angry situation thing going on stage, and then they have moments where they try and make it work. She's like, I'm not mad, I was disappointed, but now I'm done. And he's like, Mars, it's okay, or whatever. And then she's like, I had fun skating. I thought it would be fun, get us away from the kids, get us back to how we used to be. We went skating the first time you kissed me, And that's why she brought him back to that place, because it was her idea to go there. And so the scene progresses. He goes looking for the skates, doesn't find them in the car, comes back on stage, and she's upset. She's like, okay, well, I'm going to go look in the car. He's like, it's not in the car. So then while she's off looking in his car, he decides to, just start looking around, because she just saw a shooting star while he wasn't looking. And she saw it without him, basically. And that kind of like was another example of him not paying attention. And that was like something else for her to rub in his face. And so when she's gone, he's like, well, I'm going to just wish on a regular star. And then she comes back on stage, and he's like, invites her to wish on it with him. They're looking at it, and she's like, yikes, dude, that's not a star. That's a planet.
Did you notice that you were looking right at me this whole time?
I didn't. I did not. I could, because you got to remember the lights in front of me.
I was thinking like it would have to be pitch black to you.
Uh-huh. Or did you think that I literally was like just looking dead at you?
You're looking dead at me.
You were, because our director told us where to put the star in the audience, and I guess you were just the lucky guy that happened to be sitting in the seat.
I was a star that night,
right where the star is. It was by an exit sign or whatever. So yeah, that's why I'm looking there, and I even like point at it specifically because it's something that everybody in the audience can imagine. That's where it is. That's why we have a specific place to put it. But no, I did not realize you were sitting right where I was looking. And so basically, he asked her to look. He's like trying to be nice and trying to have a sentimental moment with her because he just missed the shooting star. So he's like, well, maybe me and my wife we wish on a regular star. And then a really telling line for me in the scene. She comes back on and she's like, well, it's a planet. He's like, well, how do you know there's a planet? She's like, because it was on the news. They've been saying all week that Saturn is going to be the brightest object in the sky this month. And your wish is never going to come true if you're wishing on the planet. And when she says that, me in character, I think to myself, maybe you're right. Maybe I am wishing on the planet. That's a good analogy here for what's going on in my life. He's like, well, he walks off. She goes, you got to pay attention. And that's like the 6th, 7th, maybe 8th time she says that in the span of like 3 minutes. So he's like, his stupid man instinct is kind of kicking in. He's like, what do you mean by that? I got to pay attention. And then she's like, happy anniversary. He's like, ooh. He's like, he doesn't say I'm sorry. He goes, I knew you were mad. I mean, Mars, I'm sorry, but I got to work. I got to take a double when Shelly needs me at the mill. She's helping us out, offering me the overtime, Mm-hmm. And she's like, I know. He's like, no, you don't know. Me working is for the kids and for us. And it's a lot. And it messes me up. And, he goes on to explain all of that. And she goes, I understand you got to work. I'm not upset about that. What I don't understand is why I'm lonely. I'm lonely, Phil. I got a husband and a couple of great kids, and I'm lonely. And she goes on, you don't pay attention anymore. And he basically has been begging her to stop saying that this whole scene. So when she tells him one more time, because it looks like they're about to connect. She's about to tell him how she really feels, but instead she takes the low road and is like, you don't pay attention. Like, it's more picking at him in that moment for it. And then even that he tries to ignore, and she goes, you missed your son's first varsity hockey game. He's like, hockey equipment costs money. You know what I mean? And at this point, it's just all going to a head, and it's like this explosive moment where she goes, it just makes me so mad. I don't know what to do anymore. He goes, you lie so bad. You're mad at me, but you don't tell me even when I ask you over and over. And she's like, no, because you wouldn't pay attention even if I did tell you. He goes, no, because you don't know how to tell me what you feel like about me. So I never know where I am, where I stand. Maybe that's why I go away, so I can know where I am for a second. And it's lonely there too, where I go. And you sent me there. You went away a long time before I did. And now all you do is lie. I don't lie. Yes, you do. You say you had fun, but you didn't. You say you're not mad, but you're mad. You didn't have fun tonight, did you? He sits there quietly for a second. She contemplates. No, I didn't have fun. I don't have fun with you anymore, Phil. Just like this, they're literally just like ripping each other to pieces at this point on stage. And then, they separate, and there's this like clear gap of distance between them, just a chasm between their relationship. And she's like, well, what are we doing? What are we waiting for? And then the playwright reminds you that this is a stupid fucking play. It's almost bad. Like, you thought it was just some amazing, emotional, heart-wrenching scene, and then a fucking shoe drops from the sky, and it's her shoe that she's been looking for this whole time. Just falls from the sky right between the two of them.
Honestly, this entire scene, I just couldn't care about it on an emotional level because I was getting really tired.
Mm-hmm. I picked that up from you too, because the first one you were seemed like, I'm just glad you were able to at least fully enjoy the first one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then I feel like that was the one that kind of like sealed it for you. And then there was the intermission right after that. So it's like, you're probably thinking to yourself, well, damn, I've already seen the best one. So I ain't mad at you for that, Captain.
But yeah, you were talking about how that scene is like some sort of a Marxist-Leninist critique of the family, or how a family struggles to be formed under capitalism or something.
Yeah.
Other change like that. Go ahead and fill us in.
Well, basically, Phil's whole mission and worth in the relationship is to provide for his family through money.
Yeah.
Like, that's the only thing that he gives to them. And his separateness from his family is the only way that he can provide for them. So either his family has to starve or his family has to not have a father. So no matter what he does, like, he's a hardworking man and he's a complete failure as a husband and a father as a result. Because it's like it's a catch-22, you know what I mean? And it's the way that things are set up for people who aren't in a privileged position in a capitalist society.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And it's like she wants something from him that he could never give her because that's not what's allowed under the current circumstances. You know what I mean?
Man is
and neither of them are really at fault because she's not wrong. Like, he missed the hockey game. He missed his daughter's birthday. He forgot the anniversary and all that. But the reason all of that goes down is not because of him. It's because of what he has to do in order to make them have a life. You know what I mean? It costs. All of it costs, basically.
Yeah, I fucking stink. I wonder how much it costs to live up in Maine. I imagine it's pretty expensive.
Mm-hmm.
So that $15 an hour minimum wage is probably not going that far.
No, not at all.
So I cared even less about the story of Hope and seeing the thing. The only thing about the last scene is like, man, they're about to fuck on stage. Maybe that was a little unrealistic of an expectation, but I felt kind of disappointed by that.
You didn't know how far it was gonna go, huh?
Yeah, it's like, come on, almost PG-13. Come on, let's do it.
Almost PG-13. Yeah. The 7th scene, I was honestly, the word's not disappointed. The actress in that scene, I was like quite familiar with her. And it was a thing where she just either she was incapable or unwilling to be emotionally vulnerable enough to like take the character over the hump for that scene, the 7th one. I
know the character's called Hope and Man, which, come on.
The scene, you remember anything about the scene? Huh?
Not really.
She shows up at his door. And she's hoping, basically, okay.
Oh, that's when she meets the guy online trying to meet him in real life. And okay.
I'll give you the ultra abbreviated version of this scene because this is one you probably hardly remember, and it's very short. It's not that important. Basically, the guy asked her to marry him, and she went away. Like, she left town, didn't have an answer for him, was like just growing up or whatever, and she was still trying to figure out her place, so she didn't do it. And she felt bad about it, and she still loved him, still missed him. So she goes back to town on some like rom-com ending stuff, like he's gonna still be there. I'm gonna knock on his door. We're gonna get back together. And it's not him at the door, from what she realizes, and it's just some random guy, because he was like some like super swole basketball center type guy, and this guy at the door, he's just like some regular small.
Oh yes.
Yeah. And so she basically is like, oh, I'm sorry. I thought he would still be here. He said he'd be here after his family left, this, that, and the other. Yeah. And she's like basically just reminiscing to this random man about what she did wrong and where she's been at, how she would have done things differently, how you got to hold on tight to people, because if you don't, then you might wind up making the wrong choices about what your life should be if you don't have them around to help you. And then eventually she's walking away and he's like, goodbye, Hope. And she's like, how did you know my name? And she's like, Danny? Because it's actually him, you know. And then, you know, there's that moment where she realizes that it is him. And she's probably hoping for like a moment that they'll still be able to be together, because, you know, she did love him. And she was gonna, yes, was the answer that she would have given him in hindsight. And then his wife from inside the house is like, honey, come on back inside. And then, you know, he's like, bye, Hope. And he just walks away to go back with his wife. And she just has to kind of leave with her nice pink suitcase and her high heels and everything and be like, wow, yes, I would have married you. And then she leaves.
This whole thing could have been settled, you know, if they listened to the song Living on the Prairie by Bon Jovi. I thought Bon Jovi would be pretty big up in Maine still.
Yeah, bro, I'd imagine too.
We got to hold on to what we've got. It doesn't make a difference if we make it or not. We got each other, and that's a lot for love. We'll give it a shot.
Hey, okay.
Yeah.
I was waiting for the chorus because I don't know the words, bro.
Oh. Whoa, living on a prayer. Take my hand. We'll make it, I swear. Whoa, living on a prayer. Yeah. Something like that.
That was actually pretty good.
Man, let's start our own glam metal band.
I feel like we could do like a barbershop duet.
I don't know. I think the time, it's not 2008 anymore. We can't be epic. Can't be epic like that. That seemed like one of those ideas that people have on forums. Is like, yeah, what about if we had like a barbershop quartet, or we're like a hip hop band that we're pirates is our gimmick.
Wow. But yeah,
the pirate rap group actually made it to, I think, America's Got Talent. So maybe, but it's not 2008 anymore. We can't meme our way to TV.
Unlucky.
Let's talk about last scene.
Last scene thing. Guy paints a chick a painting. It's a pointless painting, so you can only see what it is from a certain angle. At the top of the scene.
Isn't that every painting though?
No.
Like if you see it from the back, you can't tell what it is.
You know what, Mark? Eat a dick.
I win.
But what I mean is, even if you look at it straight on, you can't tell what it is.
Sure.
So he lays the painting down on. She puts the painting down upside down at the top of the scene to really set the idea. I feel like that's kind of one of the funniest moments of the scene. She puts it down upside down, and he like sees what she did, walks over and like flips it over, and then like everybody starts laughing or whatever it did. So she's like, "What are you doing?" They've been friends for a long time, and like he's been crushing on her, but he has not shared that because she's like this tough guy type girl or whatever, and he's somewhat intimidated by her feminine / masculine energy. You know what I mean? The androgyny is quite intimidating in this one. And so, but like it's like been talked about around the town and everything. Like people have been wanting them to get together for a while, and basically, he's like got her looking at the painting. It's kind of his way to try and show her how he appreciates her, and she's looking at it, but she's not able to see it. So he's like, okay, well, can I give you a hint then? And he kisses her, and she's like, what the fuck are you doing? Don't kiss me. I don't know you like that. Whatever. And like that, they have their beef. She runs to her house, slams the door on him. He's standing out there in the fucking cold, the blistering cold with the snow pouring down on him. And he's like, "Hey, Rhonda, I like you a lot, and I want us to be together." And like just like man starts pouring his heart out on the porch, and she comes back out. She's like, "What do you mean by all of that? Why are you saying that shit?" And he's like, "Cause it's true, I really like you, and I thought you liked me too." And she's like, "Well, I do like you." He's like, "What? So I can kiss you then?" And she's like, "No. Because I never kissed anybody before." And then they call. He's like, "Well, why don't we just try together? Yada yada. I won't be mean to you or anything like that." He's like very gentle with her, and it's a nice, sweet moment. And then they start kissing, and she's like, "Wow, this is a lot easier than I thought it would be. I just wish I wish I knew what come after this though." And then Dave, he's a stupid little horny teenage man or whatever, and he's like, "I know what comes next." Mm-hmm. And then they start pulling off all of their clothes because they have on like 30 fucking layers of winter clothes. Mm-hmm. And they just start like ripping them off one by one on stage, pulling them off each other and all kind of foolishness and shit like that. And then
it's like they set up a joke, but the punchline would be Dontez. Mm-hmm. What would the punchline be? You get jokes. Some people don't get jokes, but you
insertion.
Get
Insertion upstage.
See, okay, you're adding to it. See, that's S tier. That's S tier in the joke. I was just looking for the C tier version of the joke, which at least get in the underwear. At least what they still were in. They're still in full body clothes.
They're in their long johns. It's cold, bro. They wouldn't be in their underwear. You can't have a continuity error just for the sake of a joke, bro.
Come on. It's surreal. We gotta punch up these bits. We gotta punch up these.
Yeah, bro. They walk to center stage. All the lights go down, and there's one spotlight in front. It's one of the fucking pointed lights, bro. There's a guy. His job is to hold that light and aim it right at them, bro. And then right there in the center stage is insertion.
Not even like, not intervaginal insertion. Like she's sucking them off like a pro all of a sudden. But hey, come on. I'm not saying this. I'm an artist, and I'm a vessel of God's peculiar light to put on stage.
God's peculiar light.
This is not.
I've never heard that.
This is not me saying this. This is God saying this. I'm just a vessel.
Yeah. But that's supposed to be the happy ending. Oh, and then Pete and Jeanette from the prologue. We did forget to mention this.
Oh yeah, they come back at the end, the intermission.
Mm-hmm. So in the interlog, because Mark did not explain this well.
I'm sorry.
In the interlog, Pete is explaining a stupid metaphor about how if you're right next to somebody, that's the furthest you could be away from them. Because if you track your distance opposite around the earth, then it's the maximum distance is when you're right next to something. You get what I mean? Are you understand the analogy? Imagine a sphere. Like imagine the equator right next to it. If you go all the way around the equator, that's maximum Earth distance. You get me?
Yeah.
And so that's why he says that they're not close as she thinks. And then when she starts to walk away from him, he's like, "You're getting closer and closer and closer." You remember that? And closer. And then she leaves. And it's like super cringe. Everyone's like, "Why the fuck did he do that? This guy's weird as hell."
Yeah.
She walks off stage. He walks off stage. Then in the interlog, I don't know if you noticed this. He's sitting on the bench by himself during the interlog, the intermission.
Yeah.
Like looking for her, wondering where she went. And then in the epilogue, she comes back from the opposite side of the stage. You see, because she walked all the way around the world to go see him. And that's the end. That's the proper ending of the show. I mean, the show. The show.
What counts as around the world? Like going like straight east to west, or going like south? Because to me, around the world would be like the full circumference of the earth. The
full circumference of the earth would be from any point. You can get the full circumference.
No, because the farther you up is shorter if you just swirl east to west. If you're that high.
No. If she's like this, then it's like this. That's what I'm saying. Like you have to. There's a.
So she went to the South Pole.
She did whatever she had to do. That's the point. That's the.
I'm not sure about that. Dontez.
Mark,
if they're not gonna respect my intelligence, I'm not gonna remember to tell it back on my podcast. That's the way I feel.
Mark, listen to me. When she walks out of the door, it costs a lot of money for Delgado Theater, but we actually get her on a plane.
Right. Okay. Go ahead.
Like, just a little behind the scenes for you, bro. We actually have a fighter jet pilot waiting outside.
Shit, an F-35. All right.
So when she gets out of the, and it's really hard to pull this off in the hour and a half we have for the show.
Yeah.
So she's in the prologue and she has to fly all the way around the earth before the epilogue. It was tough for her, but she got it done. You know, she's an amazing actor.
I'm not questioning logistics. I'm questioning
They traveled the circumference of the earth. All right.
Okay. I'll take your word for it, because honestly, I couldn't go to
skeptical.
Sleep. I took me an extra hour and a half to go to sleep that night because I was just thinking, like, did they go like around just the top part of the earth?
Oh yeah, this was just like this little silly.
That's like it's not nothing. What is that?
They definitely passed the center.
What was that, like 20,000 miles? That's nothing. Come on.
They passed the center, all right.
So yeah, that was a
little funny joke with that though. I remember they were talking about that scene one time at rehearsal. And our director, he's asking them leading questions that directors ask actors who are not quite familiar with the subtext of their scene. Mm-hmm. It's pretty cringe to see when you know the subtext of their scene, even though you're not in it, and you're just like, "Damn, this is rough." And he's like, he's asking her, he's like, "So Ashley, how far did she go?" And so she literally looks at where the bench is, and she looks to the other thing. She's like, "Yeah, that's pretty far." And everyone just like bust out laughing because she's like, she went around the world. She did not go from fucking stage left to stage right. She's like, yeah, it is kind of far. I gotta like walk out in the hallway and go like back around past the concession stand. She's like, yeah, it's kind of far. I'm like, you don't get it. You just don't get it.
Oh man. So to recap that play, I think it's a solid, pretty good out of 10.
Pretty good out of 10.
7.25 out of 10.
What would you rate my scene? You were too asleep for one of them, but what would you rate the first scene I was in?
The first scene, I would say I give that 7.75 out of 10. It was a very good scene.
Nice.
Very well done.
Nice.
I think this play, me going on to this play, ruined my sleep schedule until right now, and it will continue to ruin my sleep schedule probably for another week. And you know what?
I'm going to have to demand that you take some responsibility for your sleep schedule.
No. How about no?
My play ruined your sleep schedule.
I'm
hearing a lot of deflection there.
Some people are personal responsibility conservatives. I'm more of a everybody but me responsibility conservative. How about that?
So you're more of a fuck up, basically.
I'm more of a piece of shit who can't get a job type.
Yeah, me too, bro. I feel that.
So yeah.
Yeah, fuck all that and all the seniors and all other people. What can I do to get myself on Broadway tomorrow? What changes do I need to make? What is my next mission, my next conquest?
I think you have a better chance at writing a play that makes it to Broadway than you making it yourself.
Damn. That's tough, bro.
I mean, it's not anything about you. It just seems rough. It seems like there's a lot of people out here trying to be actors.
Yeah. I'm just not good enough, bro.
I don't know if you're good enough. You're probably good enough. I don't know. Every play I've seen, either on the internet or in person, it just seemed like, I don't know, if you it's a play. Come on, it's a play. Like I remember watching Hamilton in high school, and it's like, I guess most of the people in this theater program could probably do this pretty fine. So, don't you feel like everyone in Greece in high school could have probably done Hamilton like decently? And Hamilton's a way better script than Grease.
Yeah, fair enough. Like Shelby, for instance, definitely could have sung it well enough to be in Hamilton.
Yeah. So
I can't sing that well, but because I don't know if you remember in that part of Hamilton.
Well, of course I remember that.
What makes you think that we could have done that?
I think
I was not a good singer, Mark. I don't know if you remember.
You would have tried. The way you used your mind to solve a Rubik's Cube, you would have solved singing for learn how to sing for yourself. I think. Mm-hmm. And so we're gonna practice our acting skills right now.
I love that.
So we're gonna do a little improv, and I'm gonna lead the way, and we're just gonna see where you take it. I'm gonna lead the way though.
I was in the improv troupe at ULL, so I'm about to be bad at this.
So are you ready? Everyone ready?
It's improv.
Yes, improv.
That's my only thing. That's the only thing I have that I know. I don't know anything else besides we're about the improv.
Okay, the setting we're in the countryside in Western Germany. The year does not matter. Year does not matter. So,
motherfucker said Western Germany. Oh, I know what we're dealing with here.
So let's go. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. I'm just a small town shoot staff officer that's going to need to take a look at your attic, sir. But before I go in, I know I'm just barging in. I would like to get to know you because you don't look quite like the guy who used to own this place.
Yeah, it used to be my father's.
Used to be what'd your father go by?
He didn't quite have a given name, but his master's dead now. So,
Okay, well, I know this. I have a deed for one man by the name Fievel, last name Gozvestovitz. Do you know somebody by the name of Mr. Gozvestovitz?
Gozvestovitz. No, doesn't sound too familiar.
So how long you been in this house again, sir? Seems gonna stop.
Stop. This is so fucked. This is so fucked already. What? Look. Okay. First rule of comedy: don't say no. First rule of improv: you don't say no. When you hear me saying no, you gotta stop. Because I realized I'm like, fuck. I just broke the only rule. There's only one rule, bro, and I broke it. All right. I didn't have enough context. I'm bad at this.
No, that's fine. I should have gave you more context.
No, you shouldn't have. That's how it actually works on stage in the improv troupe, by the way. So try again.
What different scene?
You have another one? All right, that's perfect. This time I'm gonna lock in. I promise.
Do I have
this time? I'll deliver. No lie. We're gonna cut that first one. Well, not we. You're gonna cut that first.
I'm not cutting that.
Oh Lord.
We're keeping that in. So let's try it. I don't have a scene ready. So
don't say anything. Yeah. Literally.
So what should I say then? Like nothing. I just start acting.
Improv. Go.
Okay. So I welcome everyone to the 43rd Congress of the Chinese Communist Party. I am one Mark Anthony Davis, and I am the foreign commissar coming from the United States. And I'm just saying, fuck this. I hate acting. Fuck this. See, it's funny when
harder than it seems, bro.
No, it's not harder. It's like I have to write while I'm doing this. It's like I could do it. You say something, and then I play off you because this is unfair.
All right. Nice job out there, Slugger.
Oh, thanks, Dad.
Yeah, man. It was really inspiring to see that you finally got your first home run. I mean, it took quite some time, but for a one-handed baseball batter, that's really something.
Could we go to Taco Bell now?
See, you're funny, bro. You get it. All right, can we go to Taco Bell? All right, I slipped out of the scene, but
that's fine.
I slipped out of the scene because I was like, just a few lines or whatever. But you get the idea. It's not as hard as you think. It can be quite fun.
Because everything I try to do, I try to stack different things on top of each other when I write. So it's hard to do that, stacking 3 absurdities in the same one line.
No, you can. It's hard to do on the fly. It's like
yes.
But you can do it.
Yeah, supernova. I'm rolling over the novices, and I spit as cold as your porridges. Yeah.
Okay. Why I always gotta have cold porridge, bro? Nobody ever talk about my Goldilocks porridge. Everybody want it cold or hot or something.
Spitting as warm as your porridges.
My spittings is boring as porridge.
I'm rolling through your storages. Getting your Nazi memorabilia. Whatever. Okay, let's talk about something else.
Nazi memorabilia. You know that I would kill you. I'm a skinhead, and you know I like the color red. Also black. I wish the Eastern Union was intact.
The what?
The Eastern Union, huh?
What? Okay, I don't know what that is.
The Eastern Union.
You know, I
wish East Germany was intact. That's what I should say. East Germany was the more
solid, super solid. Man, we need the Eastern German policy of job reassignment. So like if you really hate your job, you will immediately be assigned another job that you could do instead of going unemployed for months at a time, never knowing the next job's going to hire you.
That's a really good idea, actually.
It's just every time whenever I just like want.
You're right, Mark. We should be more like Nazi Germany. I'm glad you said that.
I didn't say Nazi Germany. I said East Germany. I saw the DDR. The Dance Revolution Republic, which was ran by the Workers' Party of whatever the fuck. East Germany was solid. If you want to read more about East Germany, you can read that book over there. It's called Stasi State or Socialist Paradise.
Man, you know I'm not interested in history or geography or life.
All right.
Yeah, man. So what else we got on the itinerary, bro?
What else we got?
We got
we definitely have some
a bit of time left before I got to head out.
I had a scene.
Pick the last segment, bro. Last 5 or so.
I had a scene called the Barrister Barista, but I don't think you're ready for that high concept bit.
What makes you think I'm not? I'm literally a professional actor. Come on.
Okay, you know what a barrister is?
Nope.
It's like a judge.
Okay.
In like a British colony.
That's all I need to know. Come on. I'm literally a genius. You know that. And you don't trust me?
All right, let's go.
All right. Also, I could easily just be the barista.
There's no lines here. You don't have to scoot over to see the screen. There's no lines. What? Made it seem like there's lines here.
You made it seem like there's lines there.
No, I just read there was this called Barrister Barista.
What about it?
That's the name of the scene that we're doing.
Okay.
Sir, I have a conflict. This guy, I don't like acting. I really don't like acting.
You don't like the feeling of not being able to.
I can't control it.
You can. You have to get good at it.
No, I don't. I just don't like it.
You sound like the kid that just got struck out for the first time in his little league game.
No, I enjoyed
baseball's
it.
just no fun.
I felt that.
I'm like, yeah, when you don't hit the ball.
It was fun. I probably have a 0.05. My batting average is within the scientific margin of error. I still have fun out there.
Like, it's a complete anomaly that you ever hit the ball once and you still had a gay old time.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Man, everybody has this impression about acting and what it's like. If you ain't never been up there with them lights on you, you don't know.
But if you have lines though, if you have it's too much, I think, for me.
Knowing lines?
If you have lines, it's easier because you know what you're saying. You know what the point of what you're doing is.
The improv is what you mean.
When you're doing improv, you have to. It's too much. It can never. It's just too much.
What if you did like an SNL skit type thing?
But they wrote the lines though.
They write all the lines? I don't think they write all
they
of them.
improv off the lines that they write, which is completely different.
Yeah, I think that's how you should do it then.
Well, I don't have any lines here, so maybe I'll write some next time.
That's what I mean. If you had like a more of a skeleton for the idea, it would work better.
You know the song "Hurt" by Johnny Cash?
Nope. I don't know a lot of pop culture stuff.
Okay.
I'm pretty uninitiated.
I wrote a parody song of it when I felt like I broke my back.
You were hurt,
I was
like
hurt.
Johnny Cash.
I was hurt.
Is his hurt about being hurt in an emotional way by a woman?
It wasn't by a woman.
It was by a man?
I think it was by being old as fuck.
Oh.
I broke my hip today. It's like what he was talking about. And then like he died like 4 months after that. He was pretty old. But I would like
I'm gonna go listen to that thing.
I'm gonna do my parody of
Let's
it.
hear it. Take us away, Mark. This is gonna bring us home, so it better be amazing.
Okay. I broke my back today. I tried to suck my dick. On the floor, nuts not drained. The only thing I wield. A battered, weathered soul. A bad family, growing old. They didn't provide a way. I never had anything. What have I become? My sweetest friend. Everyone I know goes away in the end. Stop rereading. And you could have it all. My little pond of nuts. And I let you down. I will make you hurt.